It's time now for This Week in Rock and Roll History, brought to you by Tom Tayback. Take a moment to stroll with us down memory lane to the good old days, those rock and roll gold days.
Hi, everybody. Tom Tayback here. Sit back and let me be your tour guide going down memory lane, taking you back to the good old days. Those rock and roll gold days of soda shops and sock hops in the gym. Let's begin this trip in 1955. Elvis gets his first number one record. No, it wasn't Heartbreak Hotel. That would come later on the pop chart. This was a country chart number one called I Forgot to Remember to Forget. 1956, Billboard magazine reports that Elvis by this time has already sold over $6 million worth of records and is getting more than 3,000 fan letters a week. 1957, the Everly Brothers make their second appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show performing Wake Up Little Susie, a song which is banned at some radio stations because it's about two teenagers who accidentally fall asleep together. Also this week in 1957, 26-year-old Dick Clark premieres on ABC with the national version of his Philadelphia Bandstand show. It's renamed American Bandstand. The first record Clark played on his national show, That'll Be the Day by Buddy Holly. And the first live guests, the Chordettes, debuting Lollipop, which would top out at number 2. 1958, Era Records releases To Know Him Is to Love Him by the Teddy Bears. This was, by the way, a Phil Spector group and the only one he was actually a member of. It would top out at number 1 for 3 weeks. 1959, after 9 weeks as the best-selling song in the nation, The Battle of New Orleans by Johnny Horton is knocked out of the number 1 spot by Paul Anka's Lonely Boy. And believe it or not, this was Anka's first number 1 song. Diana was a bestseller, but could only hit number 2 on the pop chart. 1960, Elvis is named Public Enemy number 1 by the East German newspaper Young World. Furthermore, he's largely blamed for survey results indicating the average teenage girl listens to the radio 2 hours and 13 minutes a day and plays records for another 2 hours and 12 minutes. Of course, Elvis had a little help with Chubby Checker releasing The Twist, and 16-year-old Brian Hyland sitting at number 1 with Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. 1961, Britain's Lonnie Donegan has the number 5 song in the U.S. with Does Your Chewing Gum Lose Its Flavor on the bedpost overnight. 1962, Soul Sister number 1 Aretha Franklin makes her TV debut on American Bandstand. It would be a few more years before she reaches prominence, but at last count, Aretha has had 20 number 1 singles on the R&B chart, 45 top 40 hits on the pop chart, 18 competitive Grammys, and 2 honorary Grammys. She's one of the most honored artists of all time. 1963, the Beatles appeared at the Cavern Club in Liverpool for the last time. They had performed 274 times in the dingy basement setting over the past 2.5 years. The first gig paid them $14. The last gig, $840.
If this is your kind of music, you'll love my Rock and Roll Showcase, featuring trivia and stories about the rock and roll stars along with their charted hit singles at Podomatic.com or on YouTube. Podomatic.com or YouTube. Just search Tom Tayback. That's Tayback. Rock and roll is here to stay, baby.